Hi everyone, welcome to famous artist James Rizzi. We're going to learn about James Rizzi and we're going to make this awesome artwork that actually moves. Okay everyone, let's see some of James Rizzi's work. Because we're making a cutout, we will need to use 2 sheets of paper. It's better if it's a little bit thicker cardstock or construction paper than just regular paper. It could be too thin if it's that. If you do not have this kind of paper, you can try to use cardboard from a box or something like that and put your color over the top. So let's start to begin with our boats. Here's our inspiration. And you can see on James Rizzi's Regatta that he has several boats. The smallest one is the highest on the page. It is the farthest away. And the closest one is a bit larger. So you can see when you're working on space in art that you need to trick the viewer's eye into thinking that there is space when in fact it's just a flat painting. So we're going to be making 3 sailboats. 1 small, 1 medium, and 1 large, right on a piece of paper before we even start anything else. So to begin with, you can start with your Sharpie to outline. The boat is fairly easy. We're going to make the largest one first on the bottom of our page, right down here, and then we're going to go medium and small. We're going to be cutting these out so we don't have to worry about what happens to the rest of the paper. So we're going to be starting with our boat. I think we're going to be making about this big, right here. And you can see by the picture that I showed you that it's straight across like this. It has a bow that dips down. It's rounded in the back. And we're just going to actually make a regular line here. We're not going to worry about the water line because we will worry about that a little bit later. And we're going to be making the mast. The easiest way to figure out how tall the mast is that it's about the size of the boat. So if the boat is this wide, your mast will probably be about this tall. And it will be right about in the middle of your sailboat. We're going to make it thicker by giving it 2 lines. 1, 2. If you'd like to add decorations to that, you can with your Sharpie, or you can add them in color later on. Our mainsail is in the back and it is triangular shaped. So we're going to do an angled line out this way, but we're not going to complete it because look who's sitting in the back. The sailor is sitting in the back. So it's time to make that person. I don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl or a dog. I'm going to make a person here, but you can make whatever you wish. You can have long hair, short hair. And there is your sailor right there. Now I can finish my sail. And there's the mainsail right there. Oops, I made a mistake. I'm going to make it great by turning this into a stripe later on. The front is a spinnaker. Spinnakers are the big sails that bow out in the front and makes the ship go faster. So we're going to draw a curved line out from the mast. It goes just past the front, as you can see, and then it comes straight to the back like that. A lot of times they hang flags from the mast, so you can make yourself a long flag. This makes it very festive. Regattas are quite often a festival of boats. It's kind of a parade of boats that go by all at once. I bet you've even seen a regatta and weren't sure what it was. I'm going to add the details later with color. It's time to make our medium-sized boat. I think I have a lot of space right here for the medium-sized boat, so I think I'm going to draw it here. It will be not quite as big as this one. It'll be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to draw my line, making sure that I have lots of room up here for my sail. I'm going to draw a little bit shorter line than the one below. And again, I'm going to draw the bow, which is curved, the back, which is curved straight, and the bottom of the boat, not worrying about the wave line right now. Remember the rule that the boat is the same size as the mast. So you can measure, your mast will be right about here. Okay? And let's make 2 lines to make it nice and heavy. The mast isn't strong, thus can the sails maybe fly off? I think so. This time I'm going to make the person first. And maybe this one is a girl who's wearing a big floppy hat with some hair coming out back there, and she's smiling there, making the mainsail in the back. And there it goes. And the spinnaker in the front, which curves out past the front and goes back. We can add some flags to the top, however you want. And there we have 2 boats. If you'd like to put windows in this one, you can, or you can add stripes or different things to the bottom. Each of your boats can be different. The last boat is the smallest boat, so it's going to be the furthest away. It needs to be smaller than this one. And I have plenty of room over here to make a smaller boat. So I'm going to draw a shorter line than the first and the second one. I'm going to draw the bow, which is curved back like this, and the stern, which is curved straight like that. The bottom of the boat, and it's time to do the mast. It's about this tall, right there. Boop. And we need 2 lines to finish it, right there. And you can draw your person. I think this time I'm gonna draw, let's draw a doggy. Here's my dog. My dog has ears that are flying to the side. There he goes. It's a very windy day. You can't really sail very well without a windy day. And the mainsail is going to be drawn so it does not go over your passenger, or I should say sailor, in there. Spinnaker in the front, a little bit wider, and some flags. You can make your flag a little more square if you want to, however you want to do it. All right, you have your boat that's the closest, your boat that's in the midground, and the boat that is the farthest away in the background. And now it's time to color and decorate. You can see now that I tried to use contrasting colors to make each one as different as possible, to make them all look like they belong together in the same place. We're going to be adding some rectangles to the bottom so that these boats will actually be able to move back and forth across the water like you saw at the beginning of this video. Taking our Sharpie, we're going to make the longest rectangle on the smallest ship. A medium-sized rectangle for this one, and a nice short one here. It can go all the way to the bottom. That should be plenty of time. Now it's time to cut. There, all cut now. You can see that it's very difficult to cut out this part here. What we're going to do is, once we make the water, we're going to draw in the water lines right there so it looks like it blends in. Here's our inspiration. You can see that the water lines are very wavy. Well, that makes sense that water lines are wavy. And I'm going to be using these colors right here, all blues and greens in markers. I'm going to be using the side of the pen to make them thicker. We're going to make our horizon line above half, not quite at the top, so right about here. So our first line will cause waves all the way across like this. You can see that I'm using the flat part of the marker instead of the tip. It makes the mark much wider and much easier as you go down. All right, now that our water lines are done, it's time to add the rainbow at the top. And you can see I have my rainbow colors in order: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. That does not have to be what your rainbow looks like. You can use any colors you wish. I'm going to start with the bottom color so I can make sure that I have room at the bottom for all of my colors. So starting with this, I'm using the edge, not the tip, of my marker to make it thick. And I'm starting at one end and making an arch all the way over to the other side, like that. The next color is blue. I'm going to try to draw that as close as I can to that purple so that they look like they are blended together in a rainbow. Next comes green on top of the blue. And next comes yellow. The reason that there is an order in the rainbow is because the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, are making the other colors in between. The yellow and the blue together are making the green in the center. Next comes orange. Again, I'm using the side and trying to draw very closely to the yellow without covering it. And last, we have the red. And there it is. If you run out of room at the top, simply let your rainbow go up to the top and disappear and come back down to the other side. James Rizzi also put a sun on his picture. You're welcome to do that too, but you don't have to. This is completely your picture, so you can put birds in the sky, you can put fish jumping out of the water, you can put clouds. You can pretty much do anything that you want to make this yours. Now it's time to make our cuts in the water so that our boats can move across like you saw in the beginning. Take your paper and turn it over. We're going to fold it the long way. So take one side and fold it over to the other side and match it up and crease it. You don't have to crease it very hard because we don't want it to be too bent. And now we're going to make the cuts for the boat. Turn your paper to the side with the fold on the bottom and the opening on the top. Fold on the bottom, opening on the top. Then you're going to get your scissors and get ready to cut the bottom line. The bottom line is the closest boat, so it'll be the biggest. So you simply cut a line almost to the edge, but not quite. I have left quite a bit of space in there, as you can see. That is the foreground. The midground is here in the middle. We're going to make another cut right in the center, about the same length. If it's a little bit different, that's okay. You can see that I'm not going to the end. If we go all the way to the end, you will cut your paper all the way. The last one is in the background. You can do it as high as you wish, about the same over, leaving lots of space. You have 1, 2, 3 cuts in your water. Take your paper out and flatten it very nicely. like this. And now it's time to put our sailboats in place. The biggest one goes in the bottom. Lift it up and put your rectangle inside. And you can see that it now goes back and forth in the water along that cut that you made. You can also reach underneath and go back and forth. I also want to point out that I made some wave lines inside. Remember we talked about that this was difficult. And now it blends in with the water. The middle-sized boat goes in the mid-ground, right over here, and can also be moved. Don't be afraid to rock it or move it. They can even have a race. Our smallest boat goes at the very top, the farthest away, right up here. If there's other things you want to add to your Rizzi work, you can. You might want to add some fish in the water. You can add them anywhere you want. You can even cut out things and put them on. And there is your James Rizzi inspired Rainbow Regatta. I hope you had fun making it. See you next time.